everyone, and welcome back to Liz Sews and the next installment in my Disney in the Bedroom series, where we will be making lingerie inspired by Jasmine. In the last video in the series, I got the bra to this point, which is looking very good, but I needed some time to sort of think about what the next details were going to entail, and I think I've got a fairly good plan. So first up, today I want to tackle the sort of capped sleeves and then start looking at the stomach detail on the bra. So for the cap sleeves, I drafted a pattern. I just sort of did it freehand. I measured on my body how far it was from this sort of strap attachment point up here to the top of my shoulder. So in my case, that was 5.5 inches. And then I decided in the back, I only wanted the sleeve cap to extend down an extra 4 inches. So I put those two spots in there, and then I sort of free-handed in the shape, knowing that on either side I want this to attach into a ring. So these are 1/2 inch on either side, and just sort of swelling out to that largest part on the shoulder and then coming back in on the back. So that's just how I free-handed that pattern for the sleeves. And then of course I cut out 2 of them in my lingerie satin. So just like I did for the bridge in the sky, I'm going to leave this fabric sort of unfinished, but it will have trim sewn to it, so that sort of cleans up the edge. And so I'm going to take my gold trim and just follow the edge of this sleeve piece and go all the way around both sides like so, just like I've done everywhere else, stitching in that sort of straight line section. So it's going to finish off the either side of the sleeve caps. So that should be fairly straightforward. And then next up, I wanted to look at the flounce section. So I drafted a flounce, and I'll link down a tutorial in the description box below of somebody else's that I used to make this flounce. But basically, you start out with a circle that is as wide, so the diameter of the circle has to be equal to how long you want the flounce to be, or how wide you want the flounce to hang down. So in this case, I started with that circle, and then you just sort of draw a spiral going around it, and then you're done when you have something that equals to the length, the total length of the flounce. So this is the pattern, and here is what it looks like from my fabric cut out. So it just looks like this big circle, and then I'm going to go ahead and attach that to some strapping elastic, and it's going to give me that nice ruffly effect once it's on the strapping elastic. So I am going to attach it to this sort of like skin toned elastic because I didn't have enough of the turquoise elastic, strapping elastic, to do this detail with that. And then depending, I might have enough trim left over after doing the sleeves, and I can either put, if I do, then I'll put some gold trim onto that strapping elastic. The other option I have is, remember I bought this satin ribbon. This elastic down here doesn't need to stretch. So the other option I have is I could just attach some satin ribbon onto the elastic with some edge stitching to sort of blend it in with everything. Or I could do satin ribbon and gold trim. So I have lots of options of how to finish this. It kind of all depends on what I have left over. So I think first up is doing the sleeves, and then depending on how much of that trim I have left over, then I can go ahead and do these. Okay, so flounces and shoulders are sewn up. I very decidedly do not have enough trim left. I could probably do one of the straps, but not both of them. So I think I'm just gonna leave them unadorned. I do still have the option of this ribbon, but I think I kind of like it with the contrast of the skin tone with the ruffle. Now I will say that this is not the best fabric choice for this sort of detail. I think it would look a lot better with a fabric that had a lot more drape and flow to it. The lingerie satin is quite firm, but in some sense I think it sort of like gives it more of that cartoony vibe, because the ruffles just sit in place. They don't really move at all. So If I don't like these, it'll be easy enough to take off the bra after it's finished, so it's not the end of the world if I don't like it once it's put together. So now I need to start attaching hardware. I think what I'm going to do is a ring. What I'm going to do is I'm trying to find the front side of the shoulder straps, the side that's like longer. So I'm going to attach a ring to each of those and then attach that ring to the bra. So that's step one. And then for these guys, they're going to attach in the front with one large ring. So I'll put a strap through one and a strap through the other into this large ring, and then I'll have to put a strap attachment onto the bra itself where this is going to attach in the center front. And then I'm thinking that they'll each be individually attached in the back on either side of the hook and eye closure. So I'm going to put a ring on each of the back sides of these straps. Okay, so the shoulder pieces have now been attached on just with a gold ring in there, sort of looking like bunny ears. And then the other side of these will attach to just some strap elastic in the back. I went back and forth of whether or not I wanted the strap elastic to continue through this shoulder piece, so like the strap elastic would go on top, but I think it looks better just plainer like this. And so it'll look like that once it's wrapped around the body. And also I have my flounce now into one long ribbon, so with the larger ring in the center front and then the rings on either sides there. So to attach these to the bra, I'm just going to use some more strap elastic, just running through the ring, doubling it in half, and then attaching it to the inside of the bra. I think it would have been cleaner if I had remembered to put this into the bottom band elastic when it was sewing on, but I kind of like that I'm doing it this way now because it means that I can remove these down the road if I think that they don't work with design. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my flounces at the front and center back sides. So it's definitely starting to come together now. I can see the vision. It's looking very similar to my drawings, and we are on the home stretch. So I think what I'm going to do is put on the strap elastics. The strap elastic's going to come here and then up and connect to this fabric stripe here, and that gives me a little section where it is going to be customizable with rings and sliders, so I can adjust the length on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue on the jewels along the front and let that sort of set overnight, because I do need to dye my hook and eye closure because I ended up not dyeing this fabric, the power net, so I still need to dye the hook and eye closure. So I'll let the glue dry overnight and dye this, and then tomorrow I can finish up the bra and put on the hook and eye closure. So I have my straps attached here. I just did, the standard adjustable strap in the back, and then it just attaches to that shoulder piece with the ring that would normally attach to the front. So that is that. I also found a hook and eye closure in my stash that looks to be exactly the right length. One problem is though that I've already stitched the edges of this with white thread. So the thread is polyester. It's not going to take up dye the same way that the hook and eye closure will, but I think it'll be okay. It looks like a pretty fine finish that I've put on there, but it was such a perfect size. I figured I should go ahead and use it because you're never going to find something that's that perfect of a match. So I'm going to go ahead and dye this, set that aside. But the other thing that I can do while I'm dyeing is to glue the gems on and let them sort of sit overnight. I have to decide where I want to put them. So I also kind of want to put them on the garter bed as well, so I don't want to use all of them. So let's see. So I'm thinking that I'm going to put them in that section of the lace. I think that looks the prettiest. I'd also consider going down here in the bottom, but I think that's not as effective. And then the other option was just at the top of the points, which I think it like blends into the fabric too much. So yeah, I'm gonna go in the middle of these little filigree points. So I just have a piece of plastic with some E6000 on it. I'm gonna use the back of my spoon. So here is the finished bra. It's been a couple of days and I went ahead and got the rest of those little odds and ends onto it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. The only thing I'm not entirely sure about are the flounces right here. But when I do the finished reveal shots, once the rest of the ensemble's finished, I'll make sure to at least keep them on for those shots so you guys can see it, and then let me know down in the comments if you think it's something that I should take off or leave on. Obviously, this isn't a bra that's going to be used very functionally within my wardrobe. It's really more just for the fun of making a Disney inspired bra. So it's more of, do I think it looks cool or not? So this is what the front of the bra looks like. I'm really, really happy with it. The back is not as interesting, but of course I wanted to focus all of my attention just on the front. Yeah, I of course dyed my hook and eye closure. I do think the back on this is a little bit wide on me, so when I was putting it on, I think I was doing it on the second hook instead of the third, which normally you would want them to be all the way out when you first start putting on your bra. So it's entirely possible that I'm going to need to cut into this back band piece eventually. I also think that these straps might be a little bit long right here. They work fine now, but if this elastic sort of gives out at all and stretches out over time, I'll have to shorten these straps. But all of those sort of adjustments on the width of the back are things that I can do fairly easy now that the bra is finished. It's not like unpicking a whole lot of things, so I'm okay with it. So come back this weekend and I'll go ahead and finish up the ensemble. We still have the garter belt to go and the pants. Both of those are going to be in the same video because they'll go together fairly quickly, I am assuming. I hope everybody is enjoying this Disney in the Bedroom series, as I'm really enjoying making these pieces. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell down below so you get notified every time I put out a new video. And if you really liked it, make sure you like the video and leave me a comment down below, as it helps me out a lot in the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see everyone next time. Take care.